Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're actually doing something a little bit different. We're going to tear down the traditional interpretations of Robert Greene's famous laws of power. And, well, we're rebuilding them into a literal playbook for the modern digital economy. If the old advice feels totally disconnected from our algorithm-driven world, stick around. This breakdown of strategic dominance is exactly what we need to dive into right now. Listen to this quote. Your talent doesn't dictate your price tag. Your reputation does. It's simple, right? But it's absolutely profound. I want you to imagine a shattered glass screen just slowly piecing itself back together into this flawless, impenetrable shield. Because in today's landscape, raw talent is everywhere. We literally all know highly skilled people. But that shield, that aura you project before you even open your mouth, that is what actually determines your true value. And that brings us to a massive pitfall. We call it the commodity trap. It's when you just allow society or your bosses or your clients to dictate your worth. You know the drill. You put your head down, do the work, and passively wait to be recognized. But here's the reality check. Keeping your head down is the mindset of a pawn. If you don't actively forge your own image, the world is absolutely going to assign you one. And trust me, it's going to be a cheap one. You just become an interchangeable commodity. So let's get into Law 5, the digital armor. Okay, so the standard old school advice for Law 5 is basically, hey, don't do bad things so people like you. Honestly, that's incredibly weak. It's totally reactive. The modern reality is that your reputation is actually an offensive weapon. Think of it as a Midnight Navy impenetrable vault that you completely control. A meticulously crafted reputation can literally intimidate your rivals and force clients to meet your terms before you even step foot in the room. Seriously, reputation is like a magic wand that just doubles your strength. It's the ultimate multiplier. Let's say you cultivate a reputation for, absolute premium quality, or maybe ruthless efficiency. That reputation does all the heavy lifting for you. It walks into the room before you do. By the time you actually sit down to negotiate, the battle is pretty much already won. So how do we actually build this thing? Well, here is your 3-step playbook. Step 1. Pick a single, sterling quality. Keep it simple and bulletproof. Step 2. Guard it fiercely. Protect it like it's your most valuable asset. Because, well, it is. And step 3, this is where it gets really clever. Let public opinion hang your enemies. If someone attacks your pristine reputation, whatever you do, do not get defensive. Defensiveness just screams weakness. Take the absolute high road, command your image, and let the public do the defending for you. But all of this heavy defense begs a really sharp question, doesn't it? What good is an unassailable reputation if you remain entirely invisible? Think about it. You could be perfectly protected inside a vault, but if nobody ever walks past it, do you actually have any power? We need to pivot here from defense straight into offense. And that takes us right into Law 6, the algorithm of power. All right, we are stepping right into the chaotic, super fast-paced heartbeat of the modern attention economy here. And the fatal flaw so many professionals make is becoming what we call the invisible expert. You know the type? Highly capable, super intelligent, but buried in complete oblivion because they falsely believe their hard work will just magically speak for itself. Look, in today's saturated market, blending in with the timid masses is an absolute death sentence. If you're unseen, you count for nothing. Just look at the attention landscape. It is incredibly lopsided. Like 99% of it is just the timid masses and amateur noise. It's people just yelling into the void. And simply making noise just dumps you right into that commodity crowd we talked about earlier. But check out that tiny 1% sliver at the very top. The enigma. This tiny fraction represents the few who have actually mastered calculated mystery. And because they've mastered it, they hold all the real power. What's really fascinating is the difference between those two groups. Amateurs basically beg for attention, right? They make noise, they use desperate, cheap tricks to get noticed. But the masters, they command attention by creating mystery. It's an elite psychological strategy that just totally bypasses all the desperate noise of modern media. So let's break down the actual psychological tactics here. First, act slightly out of the ordinary to create an enigma. If you hold back just a little bit, you literally force people to try and figure you out. Next, never make it entirely clear what you're doing. Send some mixed signals. Be a bit unpredictable. You are engineering yourself into a puzzle. And human nature, we absolutely hate unsolved puzzles. So you trap their attention. They're basically forced to watch your every move just to see what happens next. The absolute core takeaway here is this. Whatever wraps itself in mystery invites interpretation. To stand out, You've got to appear larger and more enigmatic than everyone else. It's like an eagle soaring way up high above a chaotic city. It doesn't need to be down on the street squawking with the pigeons. Its sheer presence and altitude commands respect. You rise above the noise by being impossible to ignore, but totally impossible to fully figure out. Which brings us to our final framework, the unassailable synthesis. So when we synthesize these laws, combining the heavy, impenetrable defense of your digital armor with the hypnotic offense of the algorithm of power, we get a complete mandate for the modern brand. Untouchable quality meets captivating presence. So I'm going to leave you with one final, unavoidable question about your own career. Are you a commodity, just easily priced and replaced by the market? Or are you a mystery? Think about that as you plan your next move. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.